I come into the room. I was like, tonight's the night. I'm going to end this guy. Went from labouring, and then I ended up getting into a bit of crime. The physical beating, I could take that, but why he was doing it, couldn't take.
Right, welcome to another episode of Nothing But the Truth with Marvin Herbert. Today we've got a great guest on. And I like to use the word exceptional because every single person I've had on so far has an exceptional story and a different sort of perspective on life. Today we've got Paul Stansby on, and it's a great pleasure to have you on board. Yeah. And we're going to get into it because I believe we're trying to change the narrative, trying to change the mindsets, and trying to change the direction of thousands of young men and women that are heading towards dark and lonely places. Obviously, I know a little bit about your story because you've given me a bit of an insight. I don't know everything about your story. What I would like to do though, I'd like you just to get to know me a little better, or for me to get to know you a little better, but just give me a little rundown of your general upbringing as a kid, where you grew up, how you grew up, how many siblings you got, where you went to school, what your school life was like, and then we'll move on to more pressing subjects at some stage. And I'll interrupt you every now and then for questions. No, it's nothing but the truth. So when I get an I think, hold on, let me ask.
Yeah.
What is it? Because I don't know you, so I'm getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to it. So where are you from originally? And
I was born in London. I was lived over in Hounslow, where my dad and mum.
West London, Hounslow, isn't it?
Yeah, and right next to the dairy milk factory. You know, the ones with the concrete cows on the roof. Yeah. That's where we're literally just off the roundabout in the flats down there. Yeah, we grew up there. Childhood was rough. Like my dad used to, my dad beat my mum up a lot.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
38.
So we're of the same. I'm 10 years older than you. So it was around about the same year as early 80s.
Yeah.
Early 80s. You was into the world. I was a 70s baby. So the parents were pretty much similar back then. Everyone, like, domestic violence and racism was something that was just prolifically around.
Yeah, it was there. Like, you couldn't get away from it. Yeah. Like, if I went round my mate's house, that was happening there. So for me, it was like the norm. I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I was young. But my brother and my older brother and my older sister, they witnessed it more than what I did. I was more sheltered away from it, but I could hear it, which still affected me the same way as if I was to see it. Because the noises are always more than actually seeing it.
Yeah, it's actual thinking about what's going on.
Yeah, because like if I saw it, it's like, okay, you got a slap, I get that. But when you're hearing like, no, you think, oh God, he's killing her.
Yeah. Or something breaking. In my house, something always used to break. Something always smashing, mate. And I smile not because I find it funny. I smile because of the way I used to shit myself.
Yeah, and that's the feeling that you get because, like me being a young boy, I was always been brought up to be a little bit tougher than what the girls were, right? Yeah. So if I was to hear, say, my mum getting hit or the arguments or anything, that had a different effect to me because, like, even so now, if like I don't argue like with my missus or nothing because I don't like it, yeah. So if I hear my mum arguing or anything like that, it takes me right back to that feeling that I had, and I've never been able to get over that.
So when you said you don't argue with your missus, is that because you can't?
Well, she's a good girl. She don't give me no reason, but like, yeah.
Why I ask? The reason why I ask that is like, how can I put it? I was able to have arguments to a point, but then I just got aggressive and violent. Right?
Yeah.
And then I've actually stopped being violent now. So my stopping being violent made me realise where I used to go wrong with my thought patterns when I was growing up. So why I asked that question? Why did I ask that question?
About arguing with your missus?
Yeah, because now I'm not violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to put something else in place.
But you find yourself getting frustrated with trying to get your message across, though. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to stop myself from like arguing, I get frustrated. So I'm like, no. So if I want something done, like I like if I say, "Oh, grab my shoes," I need it done. Like grab my shoes. You know, I was like, "Where's my shoes?" Do you know what I mean? It's just something simple like that. But I won't sit there and be like, "Yeah, fucking," do you know what I mean? And just going at it because I can't. I don't like it. It unsettles me and it puts me in like a mindset where I'd spend the day just not feeling right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I try and be like away from all that stuff.
It's mad, isn't it? How the trauma of our childhood absolutely moulds us as adults.
It makes a massive difference.
And I'll say that because now I don't use that same programming. I get fucking frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I'm so used to reacting so negatively.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As my form of norm, that when I've got to act normal, I find that frustrating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm getting used to it and I'm getting over it right now. So that's why I asked the question. But yeah, sorry.
No, you're all right, man.
Because
it's good because like you saying that, I understand that I ain't alone with that feeling. Do you know what I mean? So it's good. It's good for me as well. Therapy in a way.
No, it's not that. It's just I think everybody needs to understand everybody so everybody can get on, innit? Otherwise, no one's ever going to get on. Now, what I am noticing with everybody I've come into contact with on my podcast is that everybody's faced the same traumas in life, but different levels.
Yeah.
And it all starts at home.
Yeah.
Right? Because of ignorance. Like, my parents wasn't the best parents, not because they was born perfect parents or born the worst parents. It's just they're programmed to be parents by their parents. What they're programmed as normal isn't necessarily the best sort of avenue for the development of the child, right? Which is what we're coming accustomed to now.
And that's why I changed the way I was thinking, like trying to stay away from that feeling negative so I can show my kids a different way. Not that the way that I was. My mum done well, do you know what I mean? She was a single mum with 4 kids. She had like, when she was with my dad, he used to beat her up. She ended up doing like a midnight flip, do you know, we just disappeared overnight, went into women's refuge protection, and mate, we was in, and my dad, he come find us, you know what I mean? So every time that he found us, we moved. So it done
for it myself. I've done it with my mum for years.
Yeah, and it's the unsettlement. It's like, even though he was trying to find his children, but he was the cause of why we left. But he was trying to find us. But every time he tried to find us because he wanted us in his life, he unsettled us because we had to move again. And I've been everywhere, from London, up York, across Bury St Edmund. I've been into so many different refuges, and this was the problem with the refuges. I was the only boy in this refuge, 387 women. I got brought up by 387 women. Because I was the only boy, I was passed around like to all these different women. Like, they loved me because I had blue eyes, blonde hair, blonde curly hair was long, and all these women all wanted sons. So like, I'm here, I'm being pulled there, being pulled everywhere. I didn't have a man to bring up with it at all.
Right, but I'm gonna jump in there, yeah, because every man on this planet are the man they become because of their mum. Right, now, I hear this argument all the time, right? That he ain't got a father figure in his life, he ain't got a father figure. I believe, personally, that that's just not an accurate sort of excuse.
No, I like the way I've become because I got brought up on my mum.
Yeah, I was going to say that's sick.
Yeah, but like later on, after we'd done these women refuges, we were older. I wanted to know, my dad, right? So I got back in contact with him. This was hard for a lot of my family because my brother, he was like beaten by my dad, like really bad, like all the time, yeah, and like messed his teeth up. Yeah, he no matter what he'd done, like for punishment and that, he'd have to sit in his room and write out the Bible, the Guinness World Record, like back to back and stuff like that. I've seen it all. I've seen all the paperwork that he's used to do. He kept it all for a while, you know. And
it's mad though, isn't it? Look, so I will cut in every now and then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, what just sprung to my mind then, right, was, fuck, I would have rather that than the beatings.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just your dad doing that he had a slightly different mindset than my old man, right? So it's just, I don't know, man. I just thought, wow, why? I would have loved to have done lines like those punishments for me.
Different kind.
What? Yeah, what? I'm licking all that puff, all that money. Right, get in the room and write the Bible out. I'll be like, yeah, all right, sweet. How many times, mate? You know what I mean?
Back to back, yeah. But he'd have that on top of the beatings. You understand? So he'd have that. So my brother, he ended up, he was living with my dad for a little while. Different dads. So my dad brought up my brother like he was his own son, yeah. But I believe that he didn't treat him like he was his own son because he never beat me that way. You understand? Like my brother, I think he punished him for not being his son. Like my dad got with my mum when she was like just had my brother. So they put it through. Like we all believed that was my dad. We had the same dad. It wasn't until later on that we realised we didn't, but it made sense of why Dad used to pick on him so much. Yeah, because he wanted him to be his son, but he wasn't.
And irony in scenarios, right? My dad was the opposite.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I had siblings from different dads.
Yeah.
And they never got beaten. I was the only one.
Yeah.
That's why I hated my dad for so long. I was like, why am I the only one getting battered? Why am I the only one having my fingers burnt? Why am I the only one? Why do you always dig me out? And then that built a resentment towards him from me.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, all the other kids, but it wasn't until later on in life that I thought, wow, do you know what?
I think anything that happens to you as a kid, I don't think you fully understand until you're in your 30s, late 20s, early 30s.
Well, I understood
before you realise.
all the beatings that I got. I thought, wow, my little sister, he couldn't beat his little sister.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat my older brother because that ain't his son.
Yeah.
Couldn't beat my older sister because that ain't his daughter.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's he going to beat? Especially with me telling him you're a mug. I just look him in his face and you fucking mug.
Yeah.
What are you not giving him a beating for? If that was me, I'd be getting battered. And then because I'd get so cheeky, I'd get battered for being cheeky. Yeah. But I'm not realising that I'm getting battered for being cheeky.
Do you think that your dad saw the power in you, so he had to rein you in so you didn't take his spot?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it was?
There's loads of things that go through my head because sometimes I think my dad was proud of the kid I was.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think he was scared of the person I was. Yeah. Sometimes I think he was embarrassed. In Barbados, right? I know he was embarrassed because his family in Barbados are very wealthy, right? And I'm the outcast. My dad was the outcast. Yeah. Like my family, like military, like police officers, harbour chiefs, and things like that. Yeah. That's from what I remember from my dad telling me. My Freemasons, my uncles are Freemasons. Do you understand? So, like the Caribbean Freemason Society, my uncle was that in Liverpool. They were that in Barbados. Like they're pretty well-to-do middle-class people. They live in nice houses. There was a statement where my sister went over there, and they've asked, "How's your brother? Is he still mad? How's your brother? Is he still a criminal? Is he not sorted his life out yet?" So I'm looked at as the black sheep of the family,
branded
like my dad.
Away. No matter what you do, you're branded.
But my dad's family was pretty well-to-do, pretty affluent in the Caribbean, and I believe that's why my dad ran away. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. I forgot the moral of the conversation there.
About our stories align.
Yeah, and it's the similarities in the parenting, but from a different perspective, just slightly every now and then. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, my dad used to beat me, I believe, because he couldn't take out his frustrations on all the other kids as they weren't his. Yeah. So I got it because I was his. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So sorry about that interruption.
No, it's all right. It's all right. But look, me and my younger sister, we never got smacked. We never got told off. We never got nothing. But my older brother and my older sister, they used to get smacked. My brother got it the worst. Jazz, my older sister, she got smacked a few times. Like,
did you used to wind the situation up so they got a dig?
Do you know? No, because when we was with my dad, I was at the age where I was just like a baby, a young toddler. You know, they were coming up. You know, so
what's the age difference between brothers and sisters?
There's 10 years on them. 10.
Oh, wow.
10, yeah. So they got they're 10. My brother 10 years on me, and my sister has got like 5 or 6 years.
You
on
are the babies, isn't you?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mental. So we ended up going, but my brother, he ended up staying.
With your dad?
With my dad, right? Because he was too old to come to the refuge.
Damn.
Yeah. But if we didn't go, my mum probably wouldn't be here today. Do you know? She would have probably been killed because the noise that I heard. But the thing is, it's mad because your dad will beat up your mum, yeah, and then come into the room like it never happened, like you never heard it. And because you're young, it's never going to stay in your brain, right? Because you're young. Another memory will take over that memory. You don't remember stuff when you're that young. And that's how it was. Like, he used to just come in and just be like, you all right? Give you a little rub on the head and, like, go and do his thing. And we'd be sitting there watching TV, pretending that we're watching TV, so we didn't get hit. Because although I didn't get hit, I still thought I might get hit. You understand? So when we all left into this protection, my brother had to stay there. And
how old was you at that stage?
I was young, man. I was probably 6 when I first went in, 5 or 6 when I first went in. And we'd spent a lot of time from the age of about 5 or 6 right up till about 10, 11. We was in refuges, being moved from.
Yeah, I was on the same.
I went to like over 100 different schools, you know, because we'd moved.
Wow, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, mate.
I never went to that many, but I remember Chalk Hill, Stonebridge, Pleasant Street, Colton, Averstock, Kirby, IT, and that's it.
Yeah, I could probably tell you probably 4 or 5 names of the schools that I went to. That was about it. We went to them all. One time.
And what was you like in school?
Do you know what? Like, I was alright when I was in the younger school, but when I started coming up towards the end of going into high school, because in London now you have 3 different schools you go to. You have primary, middle, and upper school, right?
I ain't got a clue. But
yeah, so you'd have the three different schools. But when you go out into like the sticks, like Suffolk or something, you go primary school and you'll stay there till you get to high school.
Same as what I was on.
Yeah. So, but like them schools that we went to, we had 3 different schools, so you'd be in there. So when I was coming up to middle school, is when I started reacting a little bit more, scrapping and stuff. You know, I never made any friends because there wasn't no point. You understand? So it was just me, my sisters, and my brother, when my brother was around, because he lived with my dad. But the beatings that my brother was getting whilst he was living with a dad, and whilst we were going through our own trauma with these women's refuges and that lot, he ended up doing a run-up. But because he was always grounded, he was always smacked up grounded, and he could never go out because he never really had any friends. So when he ran away and he was homeless, he ended up making friends with the people that were on the street. Because you can't live on the street and then go and hang around with the people at school. You hang around with your own kind, your own people that are on the street. And that,
I was a street baby, son.
Yeah.
I was one of them. I had street friends all around the gaff. Yeah, I know what you mean by that as well.
So when you start growing up on the street, you're not there. You're not going, should we go down the park and go and play football? You ain't got a football. So you end up going to a house and you end up smoking weed.
No, we used
or
to
hash.
No, we used to go to the skateboard parks.
Yeah.
And BMX park.
Yeah, same. That's exactly what he was doing. Yeah.
Just to nick the BMXs and
but
the
he used to
blades.
like break dance and
that's what everyone does,
yeah.
Break dancing, body popping, lino, street. Do you know what I mean? Pull up at the train station, do some body popping and dancing. And I never used to do that. I was too embarrassed. But I used to get the other kids to do it, and then I used to split the money with them. I used to be there to protect the money, make sure no one nicked the money.
Man with a hat, just put it in here. Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. So. Schools, it's mad how everything just seems very similar. Do you know what I mean? To my growing up, you know, it's just, and there's something in society that most of these youngsters don't really understand. Do you know what I mean? Because, well, do you know what? I can't really say that because there's domestic violence even today, you know, but the levels of the violence in comparison to when we were growing up is a massive difference, I believe. Yeah. Like, because even when I was growing up, your teacher was allowed to give you an ID.
Yeah, I had one of them,
You could get a beating off your teacher, like you. I've had a busted mouth off my teacher. I've had a dead leg. I've been hit. I've had to stand there so they can hit me with the wooden ruler stick. Yeah. The meter stick. Yeah. I've been hit so many times.
I got hit with do you know when they did get the chalkboards and they're rubbing the chalks? I was sitting there like cracking jokes at the back. And he was wiping the old board, and he turned around and he didn't even look at me. He just turned around and threw it, and it hit me. I was like, and he hit me on the shoulder, left a mark. I was like, my mum's coming. You're in trouble, mate.
I used to get told, go and get your mum. Go and get your dad.
Yeah.
Go and get your dad. I want to fight your dad. Go and get your dad. Mr. Barnaby, his name was. So I'll get my dad to beat you up. Go and get your dad. I want to see your dad. I'll slap your dad around the face. Come here. So he used to speak. So he used to speak, come here. I'll give you a slap. That's what I'm saying. The level of violence that we was normalised with growing up, there's no wonder there's so many troubled adults and messed up kids nowadays, because I couldn't dream about doing to my kids what's happened to me.
100%.
Like, I couldn't, like...
100%.
Don't get me wrong, I've smacked all my kids, like, lifted them up off the floor, like... I think every one of my kids has had, I'd say, a 50% power slap. Like, I've never given any of them 100% slap or dig, but I think they've all had 50%, and that's been at one stage of their life, but they've only all had one.
Yeah, I've never done. I haven't got to that point where I've done that. I've never smacked any of mine. I think the slaps that I got from my mum put me on the right path, mate. Do you know what I mean? If I would have probably got a couple more of them, I would have been on the right path way before I actually got on the right path. Do you know?
My kids, the first one I had was a blinder. I watched him do something in the bath, right? And he was playing with his mate in the bath. They broke a toy. He's broke his toy, and then he's looked at his pal and he's gone, yeah, do you want to play with that one, Ollie? So he's gone, yeah. And he's gone, oh, that's broken, that's not fair. Give me that back. So now it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. So I had a little scuffle, but my boys then up with the toys. But the little Oliver's fixed the toy, started playing with it. My boy's gone,
want that back?
What are you talking? I just fixed it, give me it back. So then now Oliver's had the rat, and my boys punched him in the mouth. Yeah. So I've seen that, so I've gone, what's happened? Anyway, cut the very long story short. After about 40 minutes, I was saying to my son, no, son, you need to tell me the truth. And he wouldn't tell me the truth. He wouldn't tell me the truth. Yeah. So I said, look, you need to get out of the bath now. I said, unless he's gone up in the air, he's hit the deck. And I said, look, you can't be telling me lies. I said, no, I want to let you into a secret. Come here. He went, what's that? I said, you see God? He said, yeah. I said, he's one of my best friends. And this is what he told me happened. And then I just depicted everything I saw.
Yeah, because he didn't even know you were watching, right? Yeah.
So he believed up to he was about 9. Yeah, I used to go, don't remember you asked my friend, you know?
I'll do that with Santa Claus. Yeah. I'll get out of the phone, I'll be like, I've got some random number in my phone, I've got Santa. I said, look, he's my friend, though, and they believed for 8 years. I
tell you, they're not babies no more.
Yeah.
You know what they got now? PMP Santa.
What?
A Santa Internet.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
Hello, Marley.
They say your name as well, yeah.
Hello, Marley. You having a great time? Yeah, we're going to get ready to send you some presents, but you got to be good. You got to be good. We can't be sending no presents. And then you send them a list of what you're going to get them, and they say, I heard you wanted X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. You better be good, otherwise you won't be getting none this year. Santa Claus is back. I mean, PMP Santa, I don't think cool. But yeah, so, yeah, life, man. Drags you around, pulls you around, drags you under, you hit the surface. So, aside from the domestic violence and going in and out of the refuges, what other problems did you encounter? Did you get in trouble with the law at all?
Yeah, I had my fair share.
Did you ever go to prison?
Nah.
Oh, so you just...
No, I've come close a couple of times, though.
No, listen, what people don't realise is everybody comes close.
No, I was up in the dock. Like,
everybody comes close, right?
Yeah.
Everybody comes close, but it just seems that the energy in the universe has got a different plan for you. I needed everything I went through because I was literally gone off the hook.
Yeah.
So everything I went through has got me to where I am today. Everything you've gone through has got you to where you are today. I just didn't need as drastic... you didn't need as drastic measures than I to get where you are today. I needed... Like, I was messed. So I needed the most... sort of... That's hard to explain. The most vigorous strategies to get me where I am today, and that was getting shot 5 times, spending that time in prison, being stabbed, being beaten, and being abandoned. If I never went through all of that, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I would still be a criminal, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But we're here today, venturing into the beautiful life journey that we all are bestowed with having. So what kind of stuff did you get in trouble with the police for?
Mainly, like when we'd done with all the women's refuges and we'd all come back together. My mum met this new guy, monster of a guy, like 6'3", huge, just a monster. And he was an horrible fucker. He was like, didn't like me because I looked like my old man and that. So I started getting the beatings and that lot. But he'd call it wrestling, come play wrestling, but it was aggressively tough. So I believe that he toughened me up like to a severe, like I'm a small kid, he's like 6'3" and he's a monster, but I'd get chucked around and he'd hurt me on purpose, you know. This is when my brother then started coming back. He was come back into our life because we was out of the refuges and stuff, yeah. So he'd moved over. We were in a refuge in Sudbury, and that's where she'd met him. So we'd moved onto a housing estate in Sudbury. It was like a council estate. It was quite a rough one, but it was all right.
Sudbury.
Next to Cornard.
Is that Heathrow ways? Sudbury.
Greenford.
Yeah.
Greenford ways, yeah, Greenford, that's it. Excellent.
Yeah, so we was over there, and I didn't really have, like, when I was at home, I was a good quiet kid because I knew if I'd stepped out, yeah, he would be like, so if I was naughty, he'd never go like slap me and just be like, you've been bad, yeah. He'd say, come on, let's go play football, yeah, because he was a mad football. So he'd stick me in a pro-sized goal, and I was tiny, and he'd say to us, every ball you let in, yeah, you're grounded for a day, yeah. Mate, he'd come into my, like, and he'd do that, and he'd purposely kick a ball to hit me in the face, yeah, and everything, like, oh, mate, it was freezing cold as well. You laugh, right? One time, he kicked the ball so hard in my face, I actually hit the floor and give myself a concussion.
I'm just thinking, I would rather the beatings.
Yeah.
I think, wow, look at this. Like, and that's what I'm saying to you, like, everything we go through with trauma, right? Like, that's like a passive-aggressive torturer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I was with the...
Like, he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's enjoying the fact that he's making my life hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where, do you feel like that yours was to teach you a lesson? A life lesson?
Yeah. I think mine was to stop me going down the road. Like, my dad beat me, I believe, so I didn't end up as bad as I did.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, he's fucked, this kid, he's fucked.
Yeah.
I've got to frighten him, but the problem was he couldn't.
Yeah.
I refused.
But the thing is, when the man that you look up to so much, yeah, you then become not scared, you ain't going to be scared of nothing. Nothing, nobody.
I know, that's why people say to me, why aren't you scared of nothing? I said, do you know what it was? From the age of 14, man, the biggest, scariest thing in my world crumbled.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, he crumbled.
Yeah.
And I was the manest man on the planet. And from that day on, I never believed anyone was as strong as me.
Yeah.
Although they were physically, but I never ever felt anybody's going to do me. I never walked into a situation for, I'm going to come unstuck here. I just thought these cunts have got to kill me. That's it. I don't give a fuck. And they're not doing it because I don't feel like I'm going to die today.
Yeah.
And I had that self-belief and confidence throughout my entire life. But that become because of my dad. So your stepdad, let's call him the passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Like, I there was many times when he was asleep, yeah, that I'll come into the room, I was like, tonight's the night, I'm going to end this guy. I'm going to end him. He has to be asleep because I can't do it when he's awake. The geezer's 6'3", he scared the shit out of me, do you know what I mean? Like, I was small. And there's many times that I've snuck in the room to end him, do you know, like whilst he was asleep, you know, and then so I'm in the room, he's there asleep, right, and my mum's a snorer. She'll put animals to shame, she's bad, like, and I've gone in a room, so I'm thinking, right, if he's sleeping through her, he ain't gonna hear me, but it turns out the geezer knew the house, so every time I stood on a floorboard, it like move a little bit. So I had to work out my way around the room because you're never allowed in your mum's room, right? You're not allowed in there. That's their room. You're not allowed in. So I had to try and spend a few nights, trying to work my way into the room. If I hear the squeak, I'd run back out, try again tomorrow, and then I'd work around that one and I'd be in. One time I got right over the top of him and I was about to do it. And then he farted, right? It sounds funny, right? He farted and he rolled over. But when he rolled over, mate, I hit the deck. I was on the floor. And I was like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to get... If he wants to go for a piss, he's going to stand on me. I'm done. He's going to kill me. Because I'm in there, I've got a tool and I'm ready. I'm going to do it. And I was so sure, I was so positive that this guy was going to get it. Man. But I couldn't go through with it. You know what I'm saying?
It goes back to that. Remember I said earlier, you say shoot the dog, shoot the cat. Everyone will talk like they can do it. But when you actually get faced with it.
But I hated this guy, man.
Yeah.
I hated him. I hated him so much because of what he used to do to us, man. He used to get your legs, put them over your shoulder and just hold them there, and all the wind's gone through your body. And when you're like, oh, I'm at the end, and you're like, oh, I'm at the end, and you think you're going to die, he'll then let go of you and then put it back when you've got half a breath. Do you know what I mean? And you just think to yourself, you're horrible. Yeah. One time I hid under a bed, right?
I'm laughing.
Fuck you, man.
I used to do things like that with my little cousins and everything.
Yeah, of course, because it's funny, right? It's funny, but when you mount it up over time, you know that it's like a regular thing, because he now knows I don't like that. So that's the regular, that's what I'm expected to, right? So I start learning how to deal with that. So one time he come in and I thought, fuck it, I'm dart under a bed. Do you know the old beds? You know the old beds, they're made of like springs, isn't they? You don't have slats, you have like the metal spring beds, didn't you? Yeah. So I'm on there and I thought to myself, yeah, he can't see me, I've hid right underneath. He spotted me, he spotted me. I don't know how he spotted me, but he got me because I put like teddy bears and that like in front of us, yeah? He come in and he jumped in the air and laid flat down on the bed. The bed went down and crushed me, mate.
See what I mean?
I had to go to hospital for that.
See that fucking people like that, mate? See, they're the people that I used to love hurting.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're horrible, nasty, fucking cunts people. Like, they're just bully, horrible. Like, I know I was a horrible person. I've done some bad things, right? Yeah. But I can honestly say, without a shadow of a doubt, 98 to 99% of the people that I hurt were horrible, nasty, fucking bullies, mate. Yeah, and I wouldn't say they deserved it, but what I do know is this: they picked on people, they hurt people, they persecuted people, they drove people fucking insane. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they just took liberties, mate. And I was one of them people. I just couldn't have it.
Yeah, but if they weren't like that, you would have walked past them. You would have left them.
Yeah, but you know what? If they were doing it to you, I'd say, Paul, do you like him? What do you want me to do him for you, mate? I'll jump in everybody's problems growing up as a kid, you know what I'm saying? That side of my, I don't understand why you don't want to help people. I don't get it. Like, I don't get how people don't want to work with each other or do things to help each other. I just don't get it. I just don't get that.
And that's as plain as simple as now. Like last week when I was there and I was talking to you, when I said about knocking on your neighbour's door and getting sugar, you can't do that anymore.
No.
It's done. That day is long gone. If you've run out of something, you have to wait till and it's late at night time. You can't knock on your neighbour because your neighbours don't want to talk to you. They just want to go in, close the door, and ignore whatever's going on around them. You can't knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, you ain't got any sugar."
Sad, isn't it? When you think about it, it's sad. Yeah. Whole streets and no one talks to each other
anymore. When I was a kid, our playground, we never had a park. We just played out in the streets, curbsies, you know, marbles on the drains, like all of the above. You know, I never had any of that. I used to have to borrow the other kids. You know.
Same here.
Yeah, permanently borrow them.
I used to nick mine from the community centres.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
when I was in hospital, because I spent a lot of time in hospital, because I was born a bit deaf, right? So I spent a lot of time in hospital.
Say that again?
Yeah. So I had all these operations and that.
What?
So I had these operations, so I spent a lot of time. I was an ill child, you know? Yeah. And so when we're in there...
On top of the persecution and beatings.
Oh, mate, madness.
I think I had it hard.
But the hospitals, they had everything. They had all the He-Mans. They had all the... Remember...
so sometimes it's a blessing going to hospital.
Oh, yeah. So I'd be like, they've got two of them. They won't miss that. Yeah. So I'd nick one, take it home, but I'd have to hide it because if I'd have had the toy at home, it would have been took off me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
learning how to be double deviant.
And then some. I'd pull that face as well if I drank that.
No, what is this? It's got too many little bits in it just to swallow.
Yeah.
Because I've got to think about it's programming again, swallowing nuts. Because I know it's got almonds in it. I've got to make sure there's not a big lump of nut in there to make me go. So we covered most of the childhood now.
Yeah.
What kind of sports did you get into? Was you into any activities? Well, I was into roller skating and BMXing.
Yeah, I done roller skating, but this was outside like my
roller disco stuff.
Yeah.
Bowers and all that.
Yeah, I had Bauer turbos. I was saying that to you guys. I had Bauer turbos and the socks.
Did you go down Covent Garden and places like that?
No, like when I got into skating, I was more over living over Suffolk way. So we had like Roller World in Colchester. Okay. And like Essex, Colchester, Suffolk, we had Martlesham.
Didn't you see me? Everyone used to go to central London the weekend.
Yeah.
Trafalgar Square, Pimlico.
I would have loved all that. But because my dad lived in London and we lived away from there. So if I was to go there, my mum wouldn't have none of it because if I would have been over there, my dad would have stole us. He would have took us. You know what I mean? And she was too afraid for that. So and of course I didn't want to go with my dad. I didn't want to go with my dad because I see the way my brother's teeth looked. Do you know what I mean? My dad punched them different ways. You know, like and as much as my dad would turn around and say no because I got in contact with him. I got back in contact with him, and I
was just about to ask that.
Yeah, I got back because I wanted to know. I wanted to know him, yeah, and I wanted to say to him like, you know, like what happened, what happened, yeah, because I've gone. So my mum's told me she's like poisoned the water as my thoughts go, yeah, and she had every right to. Do you know what I mean? Because she'd sacrificed.
Come on, they all do it.
Yeah.
I'll say to everyone, there's your mum's side, there's your dad's side. And then there's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a fact. Do you know what I mean? Because I think I'm the best dad on God's given earth. But I know I've made mistakes. I know I've done things to my partners that I've justified to myself, but it's not justifiable.
Yeah.
But it's just, to them it's not justifiable, but to me it is.
Okay.
So if I'm in a relationship and I say to someone, look, if I tell you I'm not with you, I'm going to sleep with someone else. So if I ever tell you, look, we're heading towards me finishing with you, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Don't wait for me to say, right, we're done, and I'll sleep with somebody, and he comes out and says, why did you sleep with someone? Because I've already told you I'm going to get the stages with me.
Yeah.
So if I tell you something, please don't let me do this again.
Yeah.
Please don't let me do this again. Look, if you do this again, something's going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to tell you again. Well, I'm not going to tell you again. Something else is going to happen. Don't tell me it's my fault when you ain't been listening.
Yeah.
That was my justification, but I get told I should be man enough to end the relationship. And I said, well, I thought I did. So there's lots of things that I believe I'm justified in doing, but because of my programming and just sort of mindset, I know I'm not entirely correct. And that's why having people like you on, I see a different side of being a man, because a man ain't just someone who just provides money and security. A man's someone who actually has to teach your kids how to grow and behave.
100%.
I'm saying to you, like,
100%.
I'm only learning that of late, whereas prior...
Yeah, but it's working for you. It's working for you. That comes with its stresses, 100%. But it's working. I've been around you and I've been around your kids, and it's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's challenging.
Yeah, 100%. But that's parenthood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think your parents are? I mean, despite all the beatings and all the telling off and everything else that we did, do you think it was easy for them?
No.
Exactly. Like when we decide to then create life.
It was easy for my mum. My mum was like, my mum just laid back. My mum got the best of both worlds. She really did. She was catered for, like.
Yeah.
And then she had her own issues and her own problems, and my dad was just fly by night. But yeah, it weren't as bad as some people, and it weren't as good as most. But I learned everything I needed to learn to be the man I am today, and I'm grateful that I'm strong enough and sort of have the right mindset to actually engage with helping people now moving forward.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously we've been on a little roller coaster with your life up and down, round and round, and a couple of laughs and giggles. And I'm not laughing because some people might laugh. What's he laughing at that for? I have a nervous laugh.
No, I get it. I get it.
So
I know you laugh. No, I get it.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at a thought of, like, if I was, I want to ask you, like, my dad used to make me piss myself, yeah? Like, if like, and it's funny now because I used to give it all that, I ain't scared of my dad, and then, Marvin! And then I'd just piss myself, my person, thought you weren't scared of your dad. But it's things like that that make me realise, I mean, how petrified deep down I used to be of my dad. And I had no control over my bowels or things like that.
Mine was all mind game manipulations, mate. Yeah, I thought I used to piss the bed, yeah? Like when I was younger, I thought I used to piss the bed every night, yeah? Every night I'd wake up, bed was soaking wet, right? And I'd shit myself because I know that I'm going to get grounded and this guy is going to punish me, right? And then one night, yeah, I was so scared about wetting myself, right? Because I'd come to the end of being grounded, so I was allowed to go back out, right? That I stayed awake all night, yeah? So I didn't piss myself, right? And I believed it was me. Yeah? And my door goes, right? So I hear the door, so I can hear it coming to my room. I know what room you're going into, listening to the floorboards and that, right? Because I started knowing the house. And the door would open. So I'd pretend I was asleep. Yeah? And the stepdad, he got a saucepan, yeah, and I don't know whether he pissed in a saucepan and filled half it up with water, and he'd tip it on me slowly, so I didn't wake up, but he'd make out I'd piss myself, and it was him. I was awake.
Dirty.
Yeah, mate.
Horrible bastard. What a sadomasochist. Yeah. Well, not sadomasochist. Well, just a nasty, horrible fucking person.
But that's what I had to do. But can you imagine you coming up, you're about to be going into high school.
I pissed my bed until I was fucking 12, bro.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm coming up to high school, yeah, still thinking I'm pissing myself, and it wasn't me the whole time.
I'm sorry. There's another thing that made me smile. Yeah, he's called David French. Like, and I'll give him this geezer. He's a school friend of mine from school. I remember I stayed at his house and pissed the bed in his house, yeah. And he never told a soul, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how I know he's good.
Yeah,
good people.
Good guy.
You know
Good guy.
Like he's never ever once told anybody. Like no one's ever took the piss out of me for pissing the bed.
He's probably now, you know, if he sees and hears this, he's probably gonna sit there and go, yeah, I could say it now.
No, I've mentioned something to him before, but that's why I'm saying it on this now, because I mentioned it to something, and he was like, "Why would I do that, man?" Like,
yeah.
From a different. His dad was a chauffeur. Do you know what I mean? He used to take me out in his roller and all that. It was mad, but yeah, when you just mentioned that, I just remember that. I remember I pissed the bed because I was so frightened that if I had a dream about my dad, I'd piss myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No matter where I was, I'd piss the bed. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just the trauma of that life sometimes. It's just fucking madness. So we just found out that you never used to wet the bed.
Yeah.
Your stepdad used to wet you.
Yeah. Just to be able to ground me and punish me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
fucking sick guy.
Yeah. It's madness.
But how did you feel after that? Like,
listen, I hated this guy. I wanted to end him. It was really that simple. Like, there was nothing that me and him could have ever got on with because of the punishment mentally that I took. The physical beating, I could take that, but why he was doing it, I couldn't take. You understand? So mentally, he was messing. Physically, I mean, you'll recover from a bruise, you know what I mean, a hurt leg or something like that, you know, you'll recover from that, a ball in the face in a cold day, like, it's all easy, it's light work, it's nothing. But the mental stuff, you don't recover from, you know. But when I found out that it was him, I was like, you motherfucker. I knew things had to change, you know, I knew I had to do something, yeah. But it was just so handy that not long after I found out that that's what happened, yeah, that my mum and him come to an end. Yeah, they come to an end, you know, like, so there's not much I had to do after that. After they split up, yeah, he was gone. But that's when I started coming out. That was my turn now. Like, there was no way that I was ever going to let anybody else treat me the way he treated me. So when I was going to school, that's when I started scrapping. And I was fighting. And it was like, for nothing, you know, because I was angry. I was angry at that him. I was angry at that why, like, my mum let that happen. You know, all of that come out when I was scrapping at school. Like, I'd have strangers at school for nothing, you know, just because.
It's all part of that reacting, build up and reaction.
Years and years, mate, of just waiting for it to explode, and it did. In the worst way. Because I was fighting all the time. I got expelled from all the schools that I went to. I was expelled from. You know, I'd have fights with the teachers. That was when, like you said earlier on, when the teachers would think back, I was fighting the teachers. You know, in the corridors. Teacher would grab me around the back of the neck, slam me against the wall, and I'd be pushing back off the wall and going for it. You know, and then when I got home, I didn't get in trouble as much as what I thought I was going to get in trouble. Yeah. You understand? Because
of what you've been through.
Yeah, but like what it was is once the men were gone, yeah, my mum had us boys. So me and my brother, we were then like it was right for us to have a scrap because when we got home, it was like, my boys are fighting again, my boys, you know, and it was okay. So when I knew that I weren't going to get into trouble, like I would have done if it was like this bloke who my mum was married to and my dad, that I weren't going to get into trouble. So when I knew it was okay...
Wanker 1 and Wanker 2.
Yeah, Wanker 1 and Wanker, I like that.
It's hard to call them names, man, but just, you know...
Yeah, when you sit there and you say, my dad, He ain't earned that right. Yeah. I don't believe he's earned that right. I don't think, because he's done nothing to credit me for being able to call him that. Like, when I got back in contact with him, it wasn't like, oh, my son, my firstborn son, like my baby, like this, you are like, you know, you're all right. It was, your mum's an horrible cunt. Why'd you even talk to her? Why'd you do this? And then my mum would be like, oh, what did he say about me? And you're like, fuck, I just want a relationship with a pair of you. Just lay off, yeah? Like, let's see how this goes. And it weren't like that. So again, it was like, if I went to see my dad, I'd feel bad because my mum didn't want me to. But then if I went back to my mum, my dad would give me shit because I shouldn't have a relationship with my mum.
And how old was you at that age?
Man, this was like, I think I was about 14, 15 when I got back in contact with him.
Well, I remember about 12, 13 years of age. I remember telling my mum and my dad the same thing. I said to my mum one day, I said, Mum, I'm not being funny. I said, but I don't want to hear what you got to say about my dad. Because he's my dad. I went and told my mum and my dad the same thing. I don't want to hear what you got to say about my mum. Yeah, if I come and see you, I just want to hear what we're doing and what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing,
mum shit and dad shit. You know, but it's hard.
But you're in a different battle, because although you're in this battle like of the parents, right, I get that why they don't want to see each other, but then you're trying to please two different parents that want you to do two different things. Instead of just being like, right, we're going to come together and make your...
Co-parenting.
Yeah.
There's no co-parenting.
None of that. There's none of that at all.
Damage. See, I've just realised something just right now. That maybe that is the issue in society. It's not the fact that mum and dads can't be together. It's the fact that they just don't co-parent.
Yeah.
So they don't do what's best for the child. They do what's best for them. Their situation. Yeah. Crazy.
100%. 100%.
So what happened once you left school? Did you leave school with any qualifications?
Nah.
Nothing.
Nah, I got expelled. I went to work on. I went to work on. There was this guy who I knew, and he had some cash in hand labouring work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So instead of going to school, I bought my first car when I was 12 years old off of a guy. I was saying to Eddie Coney when we was here last week. I said to him, because he knows his son, and I know his dad and his son, and I bought my first car off of this guy when I was 12 years old, and I used to park it down the alleyway of my house, my mum's house, and then I used to leave for school because she didn't even know. I'd come to an agreement with the school, the headmaster, because I was so naughty at school, they didn't want me there because I was scrapping all the time. So I come to agreements with him. I'll sign you in if you don't turn up. All right. I didn't go to school. I never got a letter home, never got nothing, yeah? My mum...
I'll pause you there again.
Yeah.
That same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, people say to me, oh, that never happened. Like,
it does.
It happens. Not only did I get signed in at school, I got signed in my kids' home. They put me in the children's home. They took me away from my mum for being an uncontrollable child. And then let me go home.
Yeah.
Halfway through. But I believe that was for other reasons. I think because I got on one of the care workers out of her nut one night. I said, what have you had? She said, what are you talking about? You've had a bit of gear, mate. She's like, what are you talking about, Marvin? I said, gear, tackle, foil, up and down the Jimmy, mate.
Yeah.
You've had a bit. I can see your pins of fat. But if I remember, I'm 14 in the kids' home. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, your pin, man, don't act dizzy with me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm serving it up.
Yeah, you know. You already know.
I'm smoking it. I'm doing it, right? And then the other geezer, I can't remember his name, like a little camp fella, he come in, pupils massive. I was like, one's on skag and one's on ease. What's the matter with you, Mum? And they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I said, what am I talking about? Your eyes, man, you're on something, you're flying me.
So to keep me quiet, they just
you've either had a sniff or an E, mate, because your pupils are wide as you like. Yours is pinned as fuck. So I know what that is, and I know what that is. Anyway, after about a few months in that gaff, they called me in the office and said, look, we think you're a bit too mature for this place. Do you want to go back to your mum's? I was like, yeah. They said, well, don't let no one know. Let me go back to my mum's.
Yeah. So you didn't say nothing, so they could carry on doing their thing. And that's what happened. Like, so instead, I'd walk out my house in the morning, and my mum didn't even realise. She didn't understand. But when she ended up doing parents' evening, she was doing parents' evening for my sister, and she didn't understand why she didn't get called in for parents' evening. So she rang the school up and said, well, you haven't given me parents' evening for my son. That's when it all come out. Said, like, listen, he's hard work, you know, he just, all he does is whenever. I was a straight A student. I was straight A, yeah. I was like clever as fuck, right? But I was number dysplasia and that lot. I didn't. If you give me like money and stuff, I'd understand it, you know. But if you was to sit there and put it down, I wouldn't, yeah. So I ended up working my way down. So I went from A's right the way down to like the stupid classes where I was felt most comfortable anyway. But that was when I was messing around in that lot. But one of the teachers was the wife of the head teacher, and she ended up going in the maths cupboard and like crying. So that's when I got called in and said, look, my wife don't want you in the class anymore. That was my form. That was my, like, about 3 of my classes was in the same class, you know. She just don't want you there anymore. So we come to an agreement. I don't come, and he signs me in, and that was me done with school. So I ended up going on the building sites, labouring, getting.
What age?
I was about 14, 15.
The correlation I'm making towards traumatic changes in life, because I was trying to put it on my dad when I was 14. You started working as a man at 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just worked all the way through them.
Yeah. I was working on the building sites. I was doing that, but because the guy knew that I was within the school times, I could leave any time I wanted in the morning, but I had to be back not far after, like for 5 o'clock for my dinner. Do you know what I mean? Because if I weren't, then my mum would know that I wasn't at after school club or something like that. So I had to be back. So I'd always be dropped off, or I'd get in my car and I'd be able to get back, get my car down the alleyway, park it up, get my school uniform back on in the car, and then walk back in.
And how long did that go on for?
Years, mate. Years.
It's mad, isn't it?
Years.
Does your mum know now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last thing we need to do is see on this show, you little bastard.
Yeah, she knows now. Like, there's loads of things I've done like that she just didn't have a clue about. You know, I was just like, she didn't expect that from me.
So you went from the labouring to.
I went from labouring, and then I ended up getting into a bit of crime, collecting and things like that. You know, so my brother, he used to sell like a lot of stuff, like nothing on like the 109 million, but he used to sell Mitsubishi pills, yeah, like all of them ones, and hash. Remember we was talking about like hash, yeah.
1950 a key.
Yeah. So he used to sell a lot of that stuff. So my brother used to give me like a few quid, you know, if he had to go and do like a money pickup or anything like that. He used to give me a few quid to come there, because I had a few friends, and all my friends, they were a little bit tasty themselves for what it was. Like they didn't care about fighting men, you know. So like we was going out to things I shouldn't have even gone out to, shouldn't have even sinned, you know what I mean, at that age. But I was doing it. I was fighting men, you know. I got myself up on a charge once, and the charge was pretty horrific. Like it was a knife offence on a lad. He was older than me. He was a lot older than me. I mean, do you know, we went to court. There wasn't enough evidence, to convict me on that. But I was looking at 12 and a half years, and that they said that I'd used an offensive weapon, and there was 2 witnesses. There was 2 old ladies. They were in the flat down at the bottom flat. He lived in the top flat, and they said that I'd gone in to the house. I'd done this boy who was older than me and robbed his house. Right. I'm telling you now, I did not rob his house, right? But I was in court, and I had this boy. I got found not guilty for because the 2 women, they were drunk at the time that they saw it, so inadmissive evidence. Yeah,
inadmissible.
So after me thinking I'm going away because I'm banged the right, so I've got these two old ladies. All evidence got thrown out. But do you know what? I got found guilty for stealing a camera, and that's on my record. Burglary of a camera. A camcorder from the house. So I didn't steal nothing, but I'd supposedly meant to have hurt this boy in a bad way, and I got found not guilty on that, but got found guilty on the camera.
Odd, but there you go. Such life is just the criminal justice system of the UK. It's not
it was like they wanted to pin something on me anyway, so they weren't gonna make it go to nothing, so they ended up just putting that on us, which was right. I got community service for that. 340 hours.
There's another thing as well. I got 180 hours community service. They've had to do that. We had to do 1 hour. geezer said to me at the end of the day, he said, "Can I have a word a minute?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, "You know, you don't have to come back next week, you know." What are you on about? He said, "I'll sign you next week, you'll be alright."
Touch.
That was it. I never had to. A couple of times I got a phone call, "You need to pop in today," but apart from that, I've never done anything. I got squeezed on most of them things. I was too disruptive when I was there. Who are you talking to? Fuck off, you mug. What?
Yeah.
Like, I was a really.
I get that.
I was a horrible kind of a kid. I really was. I was just so full of anger and hatred, bitterness and confusion that anything that was normal, I just wanted to ruin it. That's where. No, it's nuts.
Did you feel like you didn't deserve the norm?
No, I was owed the norm. The fact that I never got it made me react a lot worse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I wanted the 3 square meals a day, I wanted pocket money, I wanted all the normal things that every kid has. Because I never got it, I reacted badly. Rather than building it with the right strategies and principles, you know. I always expected it all tomorrow morning, I wanted it perfect.
Yeah, but like when you say it like that, I mean, the biggest role model that could have put you on that path was the one that was trying to teach you something different and set you off on your own path.
And that's why they ended up mimicking all them Fagan grooming mindsets off the street and became the man I did, you know. Because I'm not proud of being a groomer. I'm not proud of putting people in prison. I'm not proud of, like, I don't mean putting them in prison like grassing them up, but giving them
that foot in the pond.
I'm bringing like
that entry point.
I'm supposed to be looking after you, right? And I'm bringing you on a bit of work that you're going to go to prison for if you get caught. I'm giving you a product that's going to get you put in prison or robbed. Like, where's your fucking head at? Do you know what I mean? Like, now I've got a different mindset. I actually understand and I have empathy towards hundreds of people that have done bird damage.
Yeah, I've heard you say in many of your other casts and stuff that you've mentioned a name. God, I didn't mean to do that, but I'd like to see him today because I felt like I'd treat him different, but because I didn't understand, but now I do.
I had an amazing turnout the other day. My last shooting investigation, the guy that got shot actually rang me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. That's coming soon. He's going to come on a podcast.
No way.
We're going to do something about forgiveness and retribution. And like, even he said, "Marv, I don't hold no feelings, mate. We was all fucking lunatics back then." Do you know what I mean? I said, "No, but there's some things you need to understand and hear from me." Because after the shooting, me and him never ever spoke again. And the choices we made put us in the positions and the situations we was in. And there's no one to blame but our environment.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was buzzing because he was like, I've spoke to my mum, I spoke to my sister, I've spoke to this one, and they're buzzing. I was like, I'm amazed, that's amazing. I really hope he's genuine and it's not just a big ploy to get
to line you up. He comes in and be like, "Oh, you right?"
No, because the mad thing about it is, his leg got done. I don't know if it was as bad as mine, but his leg got done as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he got shot.
But the thing is, the fact that he understands that if he wasn't involved in that lifestyle, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, he knows that.
That's what I'm saying.
We was hard little.
That's where you're saying that the whole understanding of you all being maniacs, that was just what it was. Like, if you was like a straight girl and you got a slap from your mum, that was the way it was. You accepted it because you was naughty and you got a slap. Yeah. So if you were in the lifestyle that you was and you got shot, you kind of be like, yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen at some point.
Because I think he got shot 5 or 6 times as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's mad. But yeah, he reached out to me, so I'll be coming on soon. I won't.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just
because it helps you get over another chapter in your life as well. You understand?
There's only a couple of things that burnt me in life, and that was one of them. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not that I went against everything I used to stand for, but it was something that I would have liked to have dealt with it in a different way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we got dealt with in a way that was out of my control by other people. And afterwards I thought, you fucking scumbags. You know what I mean? Like, why would you put me in that position? Because they put me in a position, really, more so than...
So I mean, if they didn't put the position into play, the outcome would have been different.
Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, mad. So we've gone through Work.
Yes, I was working. Do you know what? I got to a point that all my friends that got expelled and that lot from school, I had them little jobs as well.
Yeah.
You know, they were working for us. I even got my brother a job as well. You know, he done a little stint.
So you're pretty much the same as well. You like helping people.
Yeah,
really,
100%, 100%.
So we've got that same quality, that same attribute. It's the same. It's a common factor in lots of people like us. But I find that the people that are like us, that are on the other side of the fence, are doing everything for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's the grooming process of the youngsters going to prison and going to thing. But now I'm on a good trajectory. I'm happy to say that I'm helping more people than hindering them.
Yeah, and that's how when me and you ended up getting talking, because I had a message that got to put out there to try and same message as you, is to try and stop people from thinking that way and just using what their knowledge that they have for the street. Because to be able to work the street, you have to be clever as well as being dumb. Do you know what I mean? But like the attribute of being,
you have to be intelligent. You have to be intelligent.
Yeah.
Right, because the dumbness comes from ignorance.
Yeah.
Because you actually think you're doing the right thing in that environment. So that's like getting thrown in a lion den, right? And asking yourself, what have you got to do to survive?
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb being in there, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know to survive, you've either got to fucking climb or kill that lion. It's one of the two, do you know what I mean?
But you imagine putting all of that legitly into a power source.
But it's what I do now with my little
Exactly.
thing. Everything with nothing but the truth. It's all about that financial revenue stream building from legal products and no risking my liberty, no grooming.
This is what happened. Like, so my brother, he was my dad. Like growing up, he taught me everything I needed to be. Yeah, like clothes to wear, like fashion wise. I'd be dressing the same as him. He was a man. I was dressing like a man. You know, like he taught me how to cook, taught me how to clean, shave, everything. He taught me everything there was. We bumped heads. Do you know what I mean? There was times where we didn't get on, but I can still say that the crucial points in my life, were given to me by this man. Yeah.
And that's your brother.
That's my brother.
And that's the reason why we're on this podcast.
Exactly.
More than anything on the planet. So I'm glad you brought up when you did. Because I've lost a brother and I know what it feels like. Do you know what I mean? Because my younger brother got killed in a car. He was in a car, his mate took a bend somewhere. He's gone up against thing, his head's come out the window and hit a lamppost. Imagine that. Do you know what I mean? He died a few years ago now. So I know what it feels like to lose a brother, but me and my brother wasn't as close. I can honestly say we weren't as close. We were from my dad's estranged relationship prior to my mum's. I used to see my brother once or twice, 3 times, 4 times a year, depending on how many times I went to Liverpool.
Yeah.
When we was in Liverpool, I spent time with him, but when I weren't in Liverpool, I weren't around.
Hurts though, doesn't it?
It fucking hurt.
Hurts. And do you know what? It wasn't until, you know, you go through life and you sit there and you go, all right, yeah, all right, I love you, bye. And you go like that, and you're like, okay. Like, your dad hurt you, your mum hurt you, but you still loved them, right? Yeah. It's not until, that someone, like your brother, your mum, your dad, dies, or gets taken from you, like murdered, like it did with my brother, that you fully understand what love is.
Yeah, it's like I say, you never understand what love is until you've had a child as well. Yeah,
I think that's a very different love, Like, I love my children unconditionally, every single one of them, I've got 10 kids and I love every single one of them, but you love them because you're giving them life, right? But when life is taken, that's a different pain.
Yeah.
That's a different pain.
Yeah, I never looked at it like that.
It's different, man. It's so different. Because you love your kids, you're bringing them up. They're going to be you. They're mini yous, but better. Yeah? And that's because of you they've done that. Your footprints that you make in the ground, they're going to follow. Yeah, so you've got to do everything that you can. If they see you sitting in your dressing gown at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon because you ain't got dressed, drinking beer or doing drugs or committing crimes or having your friends round and having parties, what do you think their future's going to be? Yeah. If you sit there and you whack your missus and your kid sees it, you know that your daughter's going to be like, if she gets whacked, you're going to be like, I'm going to weigh that guy in. But your daughter's going to say, Dad, this is normal. This is normal. Crazy. But you can't see it because that's your daughter. So you want to hurt the guy that's hurting, but the girl, if you slapped your missus, that's somebody else's daughter. Do you understand?
That's the thing. I've never really. I'm not a domestic violence type of guy because of what I've been through. I imagine.
Yeah, same.
I still
exactly
get frustrated.
the same.
I still get angry. I still scream and shout a lot. You know, but the impact of your brother. What profound effect did that have on your sort of life? How long ago was it?
4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. Just
like
gone the anniversary. Yeah. What brought us together was the whole you changing your life from the criminal world and me losing my brother via the criminal world as well. You know, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was. It was 5:30 in the afternoon on one of the busiest streets in Ipswich, and no one saw anything. Not a single person. Cars back to back, right on traffic lights, and no one saw anything. A couple of people come forward and they were massive for the case, like absolutely massive. But can you imagine this, yeah? Like my brother, he was a user. He done drugs, but he was a functioning addict. I call a functioning addict because he had a job and he had a family.
Right.
You know, so he wasn't one of them there. You'd take drugs and sit in a crack den all day and you'll stay there all night and you don't have like, I need to go shoplifting to make some more money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He was doing his 9 to 5. He was getting paid and then he was going off and doing his drugs to stay. I think he'd been at it for so long that it was hard to work out whether he was on it or he wasn't on it. Do you know? But you knew when he was needing it. Are you with me?
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, so you know when they're needing it, and there would be time to time.
Restless, snapping.
Yeah.
All the telltale signs.
The sweat, everything. Yeah.
Creating arguments. What did you just fucking say? Never said anything. Yes, you did. And there's big arguments erupt. But I've got to go out of here, and then they bolt, didn't they?
Do you know the first time he ever done it? The first time he ever tried crack. First time it was ever introduced to him. He was in jail. It was the first time. When he was out and he was doing like his party drugs, his hash and he was smoking, the guy was gold. He was like a legend. Everyone knew who he was. He was fierce. Like he was fierce. You know what I mean? Like everyone said hello. He knew everybody. There weren't no one he didn't know. He'd walk through the street. No one fucked with him. He was a force to be reckoned with. He was a short guy as well, shorter than me. So, I mean, you've seen the pictures of him. He's like loads shorter than me, but he was a force. He done kickboxing. He fought for the nationals in kickboxing. So he knew how to handle himself, you know. But on this night when he went down, he was due to pick up his usual that he'd pick up from his dealer, but his dealer got turned over. So he had nothing on him. So he had to go to Ipswich to go and pick up from someone else. But when he went to pick up from someone else, he knew someone who knew that dealer, so he was going to pick up, and he was standing at the gates of the park waiting to get his like 10 bag or whatever, you know. But lo and behold, to him, he didn't know that these dealers got a tip off saying that someone was there to rob him, and there was this local gang that was going to go rob him, and because my brother was new to the line, they thought that it was him there to rob him. But he was at the gate, like away from the house, like from the spot. He was away from it. So these guys come out of the house and they started getting an argument with him. He's a fiery fuck, so he argued back with them. They ended up getting into a fight, and this was like 100 yards up the hill. They had a fight. My brother was fighting 3 of them. Yeah, from the top of the hill all the way down to the underpass where the railway line goes over. He was fighting them, and he had his own, like the witnesses that come to the court and that, like he had his own. So he was fighting these 3 guys, right? And as he was on the path on the road, as they were going backwards and forwards throughout the cars, yeah, that no one saw anything. Yeah, he ended up was coming back, edging forward, coming back. He tripped over the curb, and when he tripped over the curb, one of the guys pulled a knife out, stabbed him once in the stomach, and they ran off.
Did he die from the stab wound?
Yeah, he got up from the stab wound, and one of the guys, one of the witnesses, wound down the window and said, "Are you all right, mate?" And my brother put his thumb up as if to say, "I'm good, yeah." And then he was out. He was out. He got stabbed. It nicked his artery, and he bled in, not out. And whilst he was on the floor, there was a teacher. A teacher come by, and didn't know him. So my brother died in a stranger's arms. Didn't know the guy, and he was saying, like, "I've been stabbed," and the guy's trying to look, and he couldn't see nothing. He couldn't see nothing because there was no blood or nothing. It was all inside. There was no blood anywhere. And ambulance come and stuff. He like died at the scene, but they called it at the hospital. But man, so 5:30, my brother. This happened at 5:30. Yeah, I'm in a petrol station. Yeah, at 10:30 at night, getting petrol. Yeah, the police turn up to my mum's house at 10:30 at night time. Her son died at 5:30, and they went round my mum's house and told her at 10:30 at night.
And any reason for the delay?
No, they knew who he was because he was known. Do you know what I mean? He was known. The police.
They're horrible bastards.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, mate. Because like whenever anyone gets stabbed or they die on anything, the police automatically get called, right? Yeah. And his face was known. Like he's known. He was known as like a drug user, someone of the street. They knew him of that anyway, so he was recognisable. He had tattoos on his neck. They knew who he was. But I'm in a petrol station at 10:30 at night, right? All right. Now, my mum answered a call, yeah, because my mum's ringing me up at 10:30. There's got to be something at Max. She wouldn't call me, yeah. I'm in a petrol station, and the guy's going, "You're not allowed your phone on in here." And I was like, just ignored him. I carried on, yeah. And I was like, not because I was being an ignorant cunt, because I knew there was something not right, because my mum was ringing me, yeah. Now, I answered that call. The noise that come down that phone, yeah, I can't explain it. "They've got him, like screaming, high pitched, "They've got him." I was like, "Mum, what's going, like, what?" And she's like, "They've got him, my baby. And I was like, "What? What's going on?" She goes, "They've got him, Dean's dead." And I was like, "Nah, this is the baddest man that I know. He's the toughest, like, hardcore. Like, I've seen him, like, get hit by a car and he'd get up and go, 'Fucking hell, mate, what are you doing?' Do you know, like this guy was indestructible to me, yeah? And now he's dead. Yeah, and some skinny crackhead guy, like, just like weak as fuck that you could probably push over and like it'd fall apart, you know? He did it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a nobody that took him. Like a nobody, and for what? Because they thought that they were gonna have their drugs taken. He wasn't even there for that. He was just there to get scored, to take him over until the other guy gets sorted.
Fucking mad, isn't it? Mistaken identity. Breakdown communication.
But because my brother could have it, and they knew one of the guys, like I said, knew who my brother was, and they knew that he was handy. So the three of them come out. Do you know what I mean? But there was another guy that was on the phone.
So do you think someone might have set your brother up?
Nah, because like he was just looking to score, so he was just like trying the lines. He's rung up someone, and they've said, "Oh, the only line that's working at this time at night, 5:30, because normally it's shut off. You wake up at X amount of time. Your last call gets at a certain time because they're shutting off, right? Yeah, some lines. So
we had graveyard shifts.
Yeah. You got the town, but he didn't want to go to the town once because he'd got stuff from before and didn't pay. Yeah, so it was like that. So one of the guys knew, so they knew it was handy. So they come out with 3 guys. They rung up their guy, yeah, in London. They said, "Got a guy here, he's a bit handy, he's come down, we think he's come here to rob us." He's told them to go out and deal with it. So they've come out to deal with it. One of the guys has stayed on the phone the whole time to this other guy. Yeah? Now, this guy has told them to do what they've got to do to be able to, like, put the message out there. So they killed him. Yeah?
Do you think they intended to kill him?
No. When they were in court, the guy, they didn't admit to doing it, yeah? But from what the street said, because I went on a mission because I wanted to find these guys, yeah? Because for me, they took my brother, yeah? For me, like I'll have a scrap, yeah? I'll have a live with anyone, yeah? Like, I'm not sitting there saying, oh, I'm a fucking bad man, but I can have it if I want it, yeah? And so I'm on a mission. I'm out to go and I want to find these guys. And I'm going to kill them. I am going to kill these guys. And that was my intention. I went out there and destruction was my main priority. Yeah? These guys are going to die tonight. I couldn't find them, mate. I turned up at this house, right? I turned up to this house, this flat. I've gone up there, yeah? I've gone up there. I started booting the door in. Yeah, I'm booting the door into this house. It wouldn't go through. It's fucking double catched up everything. Yeah, it wouldn't go through. I'm on the phone to this guy. You told me this guy lives here. It's like, yeah, he does live there. So I've come down the stairs and I'm standing by this van. Yeah, that's in the driveway because the flat's got their own little parking spots. So I'm then there. I'm on the phone. I'm leaning on this van. I'm like, you told me this guy was going to be here. Where the fuck is he? Like, and I'm going for it. Yeah. I found out in court that after the murder happened, and whilst they were on the run, he moved from the flat and he moved into the van. The fucker was in the van whilst I was on the phone. Imagine that.
It's just lucky that you never bumped into him, really, though, isn't it?
I think my brother put it into play, mate, that I wasn't...
But yeah, you couldn't do that, otherwise you wouldn't be where you are today.
Exactly, and this is why this is why I've come out now after 4 years of just sitting there. After my brother died, right?
Well, after your brother was killed.
After my brother was killed, yeah. Yeah, after he was killed. I started paying attention to the news. And you don't realise how many people, if you're not involved in it, you don't realise how many people on a daily basis are stabbed and killed. Yeah. You don't. And the ages. Yeah, the ages that these kids are committing this crime and dying from this crime. Yeah? And it's every day.
Every day.
Every day. And I don't know when this all started and how long it's been going on for.
This is the thing I bring up to a lot of people, right? Now, this has been going on since I was a kid. Because we was out stabbing people every day.
And I've been there. I've done it myself.
Yeah, so
I've done it myself. I've been there. I've done it. I've been up in the dock for it, you know.
I think the only difference nowadays, right, is that the social media make it more...
Exactly.
Sort of accessible. Like, the minute you stab someone in Camden Town, the whole world will know it.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas before, it used to take 2 weeks for Camden, Islington, and then Hackney would find something out.
Yeah, and it's not until you wouldn't know until your boy's gone over that way to go and pick up something or go and do something. They've come back or a house party or something. Yeah,
that's why it's becoming a lot more heard of. And everybody's hearing about all the stabbings.
And for me, this has now become relevant. Yeah, and through all my messages, when I go off to try and educate, I went on a mission. I could have gone 2 ways. Yeah, I didn't end up being able to get hold of these guys that killed my brother, and I wanted to.
No, but maybe be able to get hold of them in a positive way.
Yeah. So I thought to myself, yeah, like the newspapers, they went through all this thing, right, and they clutched on this story. Yeah, they clutched on when my brother died. They go, father of 5. Died, stabbed in Ipswich, right? So I was like, fucking hell, like, it's real now, it's in the newspaper. Like, not only am I dealing with the police, I'm out on the hunt, I'm now seeing it on billboards, I'm seeing it on the news, I'm hearing it on the radio, yeah? I went, like, a long time, months, without even listening to the radio. I had a friend collect all of the newspapers for me, so when I get the time to deal with reading about it, I will think, and I still haven't looked through them newspaper clippings, I still haven't thingied in it, yeah? But when it was proven in court, yeah, and then they went on a bash, the newspaper went on a bash, and they started saying, man tried to rob, father of 5, Dean Stansby, tried to rob drug dealers and got stabbed. I was like, where the fuck they get information from? And this when I realised that newspapers are bollocks. Yeah.
It's just selling papers.
Mate, I'm telling you, right? I was on one, yeah, because I was like, how can they even say that? And the police are liaison officers who were good. The second half of the liaison officers, they were good. The first half, they didn't want to deal with me because I was a nuisance, because they said, if you get any information, call me so we can get these people, right? So I was on a mission. They were ringing me up saying, Paul, the police have just been round to this house and they said that you've already turned up. And I was like, yeah. They was like, what are you doing? I said, you know what I'm doing? I'm out here. I'm out here. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, yeah? And they was like, leave it to us, leave it. And so I was a nuisance. I was like, fuck off, you know? I was angry. because they were telling me not to find the people. But I felt like at first they weren't doing anything to find the people. It was just another crackhead that was to die on the streets, and that was it. Yeah, it was more of a nuisance, but it weren't that. It was my brother, and I was on the mission. Yeah, so I've gone out there. This newspaper started saying this, right? So I'm fuming. I could tell that fucking newspaper stop saying that my brother was there to rob people. Yeah. So then when I was on the street, they said your brother shouldn't really rob people. So then I'm fuming. I was like, how do you know that he was there? What makes you say that? Oh, I saw it in the newspaper. So this went on. So when we were in court, and then it was proven that he wasn't there to rob them. He was just there to score. Yeah. The newspaper, the next day after this, after they proved it, the newspaper, put it back in the newspaper again. Father of 5 died whilst robbing drug dealers. I was angry, bruv, right? Do you know what I've done? I filled a can up of petrol, yeah? I filled a can up of petrol, and I've gone down to the newspaper, right? I've gone down to the newspaper. So I know where this newspaper place is, Evening Star. I've gone down there, right? Because I'm getting this person, yeah? And in my head, I'm setting fire to this person, end of, right? So I've gone down to the newspaper, right? And I'm there. I want the person that's writing this bollocks to do my brother. That's been proven in law that he hasn't done it, right? So I'm there, right? I've gone down there. Fucking building's gone, innit? They knocked it down like a month before. I didn't even know it was gone. They knocked it down and moved it. So I've gone down to this newspaper to get this person, right, that's writing this article. I met with the police, my liaison officer. He's turned around and said, Paul, like, what's going on? I said, I swear to you, I'm going to set them on fire if they do. I'm burning the place down, mate. And he goes, it's not here. And I was like, yeah, I know it's not here. So he's turned around and said, Paul, please, let me speak to him. If you let me speak to him, yeah, I promise you, I'll make it correct. I was like, you deal with it, or I'll find out where they are. Yeah, I'll find out where they are, because they're not shaming my brother any more than what it's already been dirted, yeah? So he's like, yeah, the next day, newspaper come out, father of 5 died, wrong place, wrong time, attacked by four people, you know? And it come out, the truth come out. But it had to be the fact that I filled a can up with petrol to go down to put this correct. Like, the newspapers don't tell the truth.
No, they don't. But the more people read, a lot of people don't realise how much bollocks they read in the paper. That's why I don't read them no more.
But thanks to that, look, that Andy, he's called Andy Moore, yeah, he's a liaison officer. He was a legend the whole way through it. Him and a woman called Miranda. I can't remember her last name, but she was lovely as well, mate. Like, they're really there for my family, you know. But the ones before that, no. But if it weren't for him, I'd have done some crazy shit. I'd have been in jail, mate. And he knew the pain that I was going through, and he was there. Like, he helped me, like, make it correct, you know. So I thank him for that, you know, like, massively, you know, because he was a good guy.
And you know, it's only the professionals that can help you get through, navigate yourself through something like that, and that sort of, what's it called? It's like the inner voice of reasoning. Because when things like that happen with your family, it's hard to find the rationale within the family infrastructure, because some people are angry, some people are sad, some people are emotional. So you're never really going to have an ingredient that's going to bring total happiness or harmony. But it seems like you found a lot of harmony after. Now it's like you found a bit of peace in yourself.
Well, from feeling like that, and being heard by the law. Yeah, he heard me and he put my message out there, yeah, to the newspaper to give the correct information to the world, because we are led by bullshit on a daily basis. Social media, newspapers, the news, you know.
COVID.
Yeah. But we're led by this massively. And we literally are soldiers. We wake up in the morning straight on social media, answering messages. Like you said this morning, you had like 200 messages that you had to get through. Yeah. You know, and this is what our life is. We're led by this, and this is how we live our daily thing.
I'm not going to do that every morning now. I want to do it every other day now. I want to do that every other day.
Set yourself that, man, because it will clear your mind a lot more. Because it's not regimental. Like, you need regimentality in your life, right? So you get that. Yeah, you've got to have your form. You know, you'll do your thing daily. But you haven't got to be a slave to media. No. You know? All right, and here's something for you. Right, so my brother's funeral, right? We're at the funeral, yeah? Like, we've got all this. After, like, we still got all the court case and that. Like,
all the remembering stuff.
Yeah.
You made a real eye-opening moment for me. And it was a subject I wanted to cover on the podcast. So I'll let you explain it because you'll be able to explain it better than me because I've not gone through that yet.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I had a fortunate experience with my dad, but when he was dying, I actually said to him, like, what is it you love? What is it you like? What is it you want to do? What is it that you've always wanted to do that you've never been able to do? Obviously, you never had that opportunity to do with your brother, so...
And that's the thing, the opportunity of getting to know someone. So, like, you truly, really feel like you know someone, yeah, when they die, because you know it's at that point.
Because the feelings you have for them, innit? You think,
Yeah.
I love him. I know, of course, I knew him. He's my brother.
Of course, yeah, I knew him. Like, we done this together, we done that together. But when it comes to actually knowing someone, it's when they die and you have to arrange funeral arrangements that you realise that the times, the little things that truly mattered, yeah, all comes to a head. It stops because you didn't pay attention to it. Like, I had this conversation with you, I have this conversation with many people, like people that you dedicate something that you can never get back, and that's time, right? So if I'm investing my time into you, I'm going to marry you, we're going to have kids together. Yeah. It'd be difficult because we're the same sex, but like, but do you know what I mean? Like if I'm giving myself to a woman,
that's a prejudiced statement. We can have children.
Nowadays we can.
Yeah. We can have same-sex children. What's the matter with you?
And we can skip down the road as well.
You know.
How was it done? But like you don't know. Yeah, like I'm giving you something that I can never get back, and that's time.
So what was the one thing that surprised you not knowing about your brother?
Everything.
Mad, isn't it?
Everything. There wasn't like, yeah, but you didn't know the colour he liked. So what? It's not so what. It's not so what when it comes to the important part, like
dressing them.
Balloons. Favourite colour balloons, we'll send them off in the air. I said that his favourite colour was red. My sister said his favourite colour was red. My mum swears blind it's blue. So we let off white balloons. Because we couldn't make our mind up. We go through...
What was his favourite food?
Do you know what? It depends, right? Because if he had the munchies at night time, yeah, he'd wake me up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and say, bruv, do you want to come up and watch a film? But I know he only woke me up, right, because he wanted me to cook him spring rolls in a deep fat fryer. Because he wanted to sit and chill on the sofa, but he'd be like, yeah, bruv, come downstairs, yeah, come downstairs when I was younger and that lot, yeah. Like I said, I learned how to cook because he'd have the munchies at night time and he'd want me to come down, don't tell mum, come downstairs, we'll watch a film, yeah, any film you want. You hungry? Are you hungry? I was like, yeah, I'm hungry. Thinking he's gonna make burgers and that. Like, yeah, we're gonna put a deep fat fryer on. I don't know how to use it. That's all right. I'll teach you. He'd be in the front room on the chair smoking a spliff, right? And I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, well, what's a deep fat fryer? And he goes, get out of the cupboard. He goes, just switch it on. Wait for the light to switch on. And he goes, yeah, just throw them in. Put them in a basket, you know. And I go, I don't know if these are done. He goes, what colour do they look like? Brown. Yeah, they're done. Bring them in. So I learned how to cook spring rolls 3 o'clock in the morning because he had the munchies, you know what I mean? But like for him, it was funny. For me, it was obviously educating me. But at the time, you don't pay attention. You just think to yourself, well, I'm asleep, you know what I mean? Like, but there's them memories that are only ones that I've got to hold on to. So I appreciate being woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I appreciate him stealing me sweets out of the drawer and nicking a fiver off us from time to time and never paying it back. I appreciate all that right now. I didn't then. It was a problem. It was an issue. Them tiny little things that you think are such a big thing that you focus all your energy are pointless. Because what you should be focusing your energy on is knowing the person that you're dedicating something you can never get back, and that's time. Because once it's gone, for me, for you, for anyone else, once it's gone, there's no way of rewriting that. There's not. So you need to take the time, yeah, instead of knowing what your friend is doing, you know, or what he's wearing that day, or where he's getting his money from, or anything like that, you need to look at the person that you're spending all your time with.
So what I was going to say to the camera, right? All you kids out there that had the same mindset that I had growing up, feeling that my pals were the most important thing. My pals, my life, my road, my money was more important than my family. So I never got to know my family. Like, I can honestly sit here and say, I don't know my sister's favourite colours. I don't know my brother's favourite colours. I don't know their favourite food. I don't know their favourite pastimes. And I don't know it even till today. Do you understand? So these are things that I'm going to try to find out over the next few years. So I'm aware of this stuff for when they do die, because the one thing I can guarantee you is your friends will come and go, but you will always bury your family. Right? Your friends will come and go, but you will always bury your family. How much would you want to contribute to your family's funeral? And that's just a little nudge in the right direction after being awakened by yourself, Paul, because it's something that we need to focus on, because focus is something that everybody spends a lot of time on, right? But focusing on the wrong
things,
and the wrong product is what will help sort of deteriorate your existence on this planet. Not only financially, materialistically, but more importantly, spiritually. And I can honestly say that I grew up hating my dad, but I found a massive peace when he died, because I'd given him back something that he'd never had in his life, and I actually got to know him a little bit more than I ever did growing up, and it hurt me. So I always advise people that if you're going to listen to your mum or you're going to listen to your dad, always get the other parents' opinions and sort of explanation. Always get both sides of the story. Don't just listen to one parent. Always, and I've spoken to people since opening this platform. I've had a couple of people reach out to me, I hate my dad. I said, look, listen, please believe me. Yeah, just speak to him.
Yeah,
just speak to him.
And this really is this is the whole point why I, through all of my pain with losing my brother from the streets, knife crime, which is pandemically massively like horrendous at the moment. It's always been there, but at the moment with social media platforms and everything else, we're too busy getting to know everyone's business when we don't need to, and we're less focused on family and properly connecting, because when you have to decide as a family together, like when my brother died, my family fell apart. I was the one that had to keep everything together. So for me, it was really hard not to break, because if I broke, there would have been nothing. He wouldn't have even got what he got. Yeah. So I had to try.
He would have got what he got, but not in the way that he deserved.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the way he deserved, but what he truly deserved wasn't a good funeral. What he truly deserved was the time when he was alive. But we take that for granted every single day, because we're not promised tomorrow. We're not.
It is.
So when that person dies and you're sitting in a room with your mum who's crying, your sisters who are crying, your nieces, your nephews, everyone, and you're trying to arrange, you've got 15 people in a room and everyone knows something different about the person, and none of them collate to actually knowing what it is.
There's another point that's just come to mind, right? Just think about this as well when you're carrying knives, right? When you actually use that knife, you're actually going to destroy a family for one reason, because you never give them the time to get to know that individual in their family. You've taken them too soon, too quick, and unexpectedly. So the trauma that is going to cause is insurmountable. So just bear that in mind when you're looking to carry a knife. That it's not just your protection that you're carrying it for. It's not just your ego you're carrying it for. Because you are, once you use that knife, going, not if but or maybe, but you are going to 100% ruin not just one person's life. You're going to ruin a multitude of lives by that one act.
And so it's not just carrying it, it's picking it up.
You know, but everything
picking
to do
it
with
up.
it. Just bear in mind that they're the consequences that you're going to have to face and you're going to have to live with. And just look at it from a different perspective. Imagine someone in your family that you loved dearly got taken away right now. Just think of the funeral arrangements that you'd have to go through to bury that person and send them off in the way they deserve. And ask yourself, is it really worth carrying a knife to inflict that much pain and suffering on someone else's family? Is it really? My question is, for what? For what has this person died for? For what has this person become a cripple for? For what have you ruined a multitude of lives for? Because it isn't anything less than ego or money. Okay? Ego or money. And you're going to ruin so many lives with that. And the reason why I wanted Paul on is because you've been through a traumatic upbringing, you've had a traumatic life experience, yeah? You haven't become a junkie, you haven't become an abuser, you haven't become a groomer, you've continued to grow your world famous tattoo artistry into its own brand.
Yeah.
You've got your own shop, and apparently you've done some exceptionally fantastic artwork on some celebrities.
Yeah, that's correct,
Yeah. What kind of celebrities are we talking about?
Premiership football players and some actors and some of the ones that are on there's a new TV show that's just come out. There's a guy that's just been on that one. Here, I've done his tattoos as well. Cabin in the Woods.
Okay. Any boxers?
No, I'm friends with every time I'm friends with Mike Tyson. Every time I go.
The reason why I say that, right, is my daughter says to me, "You know he's friends with Mike Tyson." I was like, "What?" So no, they've got the same tattoo. They've got the same tattoo or something about a tattoo. I was like, "Shut up." So I had to ask that. So you actually know Mike Tyson, yeah?
Yeah, well, I bumped into him. I was in Vegas and I bumped into him. I heard that he was in Vegas and like he was an idol from young, you know. And not just his boxing ability, but his story. Yeah. That's what I fell in love with him. Do you know what I mean? It was just the way it is. And do you know they say you should never meet your idols because they're not going to be how you think they are. Wrong. Because this guy is a legend. Yeah, not just in the boxing industry, but just as a human being.
His transformation now.
Mate, I am telling you, this guy is insane, amazing.
Yeah, that's who I want to meet, you know. That is one man that I want to sit like this with and reason with him. That is my one dream. If I can make that happen, I'll be the happiest man on this planet, because I actually believe I was exactly the same as him growing up. Do you know what I mean? And I made the wrong choices, and I reckon if I'd have got into boxing, I would have been as vicious and ferocious as he was.
I think he would love you. I think he would love to meet you as well. Like, really.
We're one of the same, but we use different strategies. And what was his name?
Costamare
was the man figure in his life when I took the gangsters sort of stereotypical aspect in life. I wanted to be a gangster.
Well, he was mixed between the two worlds, weren't he? Because whilst he was staying with what he said, the white people in the mansion and stuff like that, when he was time apart, he'd go way back to the ghetto and then he'd carry on.
He'd always have something to refer back to. Fuck this, I'm going to go back to Costa. Right? Whereas I never had that. I just had, these are my gods, these are my world, and I'm going to be the best in this world. So that's why I'd like to sit down and talk with him, because I believe we've got a lot in common, me and Mike. Do you know what I'm saying? Because,
I agree.
Yeah. Sick. It's sick. Who's the most famous artist you've, or the most famous person that you've tattooed?
I don't know, because I don't really follow football. I just get them all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I tattooed one footballer and another one come in and another one come in, and then they rung their friend and then they come in. But man, they come in. One of the guys who I tattooed, he's playing for the England squad now. Tyrone Mings.
Okay.
Yeah. He's I've done all, his half leg and that lot on there.
Well, I'm going to be doing. I've had an idea for my own tattoo for the last 10 years, and I've never met anyone who said that they can do it until I met Paul. Paul reckons he can do the job.
So man, no
stay tuned on Marv's preparation, and we'll get it going from start to finish. We'll
film it.
Yeah, a lot of it from the start to finish. That's going to be the sickest. I'm not going to talk about the idea because I know someone else will nick it.
Yeah.
Because that's the
that's on us. The reveal will be later.
Sick. And then once that gets done, I think that'll be the most powerful tattoo. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about doing, I'll tell you about it after. A couple of ideas will come through. But back to Paul. So we've been through hell, we've been back, we've been through hell again, and we've been back, we've been through hell again, and we've bounced back even stronger. And it just seems like every traumatic experiences you've gone through, you've come out the other side a little bit calmer, a little bit more educated, and a little bit more advanced into moving forward. No, but you say you have to, right? But there's people out there that use that trauma as an
excuse,
to go off the other way.
Yeah, but like with me, I've had to come out stronger because, like, you know, you say you use that trauma to go elsewhere.
You haven't had to. You've chose to. So stop. You can't undermine your success.
Yeah.
Right? Because the strongest thing to battle with on this planet is your own mind. Right? Now you've got through all the adversity of your childhood, the breakups of your parents, the existing family with your mum's boyfriends, the abuse throughout that. Do you know what I mean? And then your idol, role model, and bloody God gets taken away from you instantly. Yet you've not killed no one. You've not ruined anybody. You've gone on to spread a very positive message.
Yeah, I used all that pain. This is like, it took me 4 years to be able to put out how I actually felt, which I started doing in like a YouTube blog.
They're the things I'll repost as well, right?
Yeah, and I got massive love for that.
Like, I heard it, I thought, wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
So I've got to repost it. And that's when you reached out. I never done it for anything. I just thought, let me.
No, I know. And do you know what? When you did it, I thought if that could hit him, that can hit anybody, because you've been on the other side of the fence where like people have felt like how I felt or whatever, and you're seeing it, you're hearing it.
I created it.
That's what I'm saying.
I created what you feel.
Yeah.
Right. So now, because I know what I created and I hear people's stories, I think, wow, I was just like that. That's deep, man. I've got to show love. I've got to show love.
Yeah, and you did, and I have nothing but love for that. Like, really,
man, it's reciprocated both ways, though, man. And I believe that we're going to have a phenomenal relationship moving forward. My daughter loves you.
Yeah,
you're amazing.
Yeah, she's a good girl, man. Like, she's good. She's going to be a success.
No, she is.
Yeah,
she's going to be an Olympian. She's going to be an Olympian. She's going to be on Team GB for netball. Sloane Herbert, remember that?
Yeah,
Sloane
she's a real
Herbert.
deal. She is.
And Marley Rose Herbert is going to be our. I don't know, but I think she's going to be a marine biologist. She loves animals. So anything to do with animals she loves. Yeah. But her sports are polo. So she's going to be a world-renowned polo player, I believe. Do you know what I'm saying? Because she's
100%. You believe
sick.
It can happen.
She's sick, mate. On horses. I think they do on horses. So they're
horses, man.
They're on. She was jumping yesterday, slow. Powerful, mate. So, again, your resolve, your determination and your commitment to spread the positive words, the positive messages and the positive life choices is insurmountable, because I know now I'll be able to deal with, well, I don't know what I'd feel like if someone killed my family now. Like, murder's different to an accident. So when my brother died in an accident, I was angry. And my other cousin who died, who I classed as my brother, Stephen, he died of an heart attack. But I don't actually know how I'd feel if someone killed one of my family members. I'd like to believe that I'd be as you are. Do you understand? But
it took a lot, man. Like I say, when it all happened, my first instinct is anyone's instinct. I need to kill these people, and I went on a mission to do this. But I felt like,
still on it.
Oh mate, do you know what I mean? Like, but do you know?
Face is frightening. It's frightening.
But do you know, like you switch on them journeys.
Fuck me, this is, here we go. Do you know what I mean?
But like I prefer to stay on this side of the fence where I'm like thing. But sometimes I'll get that thing that's in there. I know that beast is in there, and it's so fucking hard to keep that contained. You know what I mean? But I have to, because I've got so much behind. I've got so much to lose, like my children. I've got too many people that depend on me, and I have to do it for my own sanity. Yeah, but when it happens, murder was a deflection, like straight back. I had to reply blood v blood, like it had to be. And you know, when I was in court and we were doing court, and it wasn't till afterwards, and you know what, I apologised to the members of the family, that was in court to support the people that killed my brother, right? And I say this, right, and people say, how can you say that? Because my family was not the only family that went through this traumatic time, right? Yeah, we didn't just lose my brother, we lost our world, right? Because of these 4 people decided to make the decision to take someone's life, right? But at the same time, the family, only one family member, one lot of the family turned up for one of the boys, But these are all brothers and sisters that are also losing somebody. Now, they didn't commit the crime, but I treat them like they did. And when we was standing outside, so when we went to court, I wasn't allowed in court. I wasn't allowed nothing, yeah, because they kept me in a room because they knew, yeah, that I'm a violent person. Was a violent person, yeah. I was a violent person, and there was 15 police units down there, yeah. They can't tase me and they can't spray me because I've got a heart condition, right? Yeah, from young. So they know this. So they had to bring 15 units, police units down, yeah, in case it kicks off, right? Because there's me, and then there's all their families and that lot, yeah. But I was on my own, right? But they know that I'm wanting revenge, yeah. But I treat the family like it was them that killed my brother, and that was rude of me. That was rude of me, because after when they come out and they got the sentencing, all 4 of them got sentenced, the lads that I treat with the look that I was going to kill them come up to my mum and they apologised to her.
Yeah, well, they would do it. They don't make me feel like crying. Then.
Do you know what?
They would do though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like,
but for me, at that point, they were rude turning up. They were rude coming to support murderers. You understand? And that's how I was thinking. But it wasn't until afterwards that I found out that they said to my mum they were sorry, that I thought to myself, they're not the only ones. We're not the only ones that are going through that.
No.
They've lost someone as well. Not in the same way, because they get to have the time.
No, it's just, this is the flip side, right? So when you stab someone or when you kill someone, just think like you, right? It's not just your family that's being devastated. Because when you get captured and when you go to prison, it's your family as well.
Yeah.
It's your brothers, your sisters, your nieces, your nephews, your mum, your dad, your aunties, your uncles that are worrying about you for the next 20 years in prison. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just too much to lose.
The pain is, and this is my message, yeah. And I've had to take all of this pain, all of it, bury it all as much as I can. And then I think to myself, I need to stop blaming people, other people that's not needed to be blamed, because I'm not the only one that's in pain here. There's families of it. So my message was this, yeah? My brother's not going to die in vain. He's not going to die in vain. He's not going to die for no reason. I'm going to put his message out there, our message, yeah? The pain, I'm putting it out there. Like, put down a knife. Put down a knife, because...
I just had an idea.
What?
Why don't you get a drawing of your brother's face and use that as your logo or your labels, and then his face lives on then? Have you ever thought of that? No. You know, like a silhouette of his face.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know when you do a silhouette tattoo.
But this is what I was saying to you, yeah, right? Now, family, yeah. How many photographs, right? Now, how many photographs did you take with your family when you were a kid?
No, see me, yeah. I'm a photograph nut.
Yeah.
So see my kids.
Yeah. Now.
No. What I'm saying to you, all the way through my life.
Yeah.
Right. I won't take pictures of me and other criminals, but me and my kids, me and my family.
Yeah.
From because the reason why I do it is because I've got no photos of me as a kid.
Exactly.
Because my mum and dad split up and we lost every photo.
Everything, exactly. And that is the norm. Like, families, like, I'm taking the kids, well, I'm taking all of the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then what happens is, you end up, your dad ends up meeting another bird, they have an argument, she kicks him out, and then she throws all his stuff in the bin. So the photographs are gone. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, you spend your life going through. You got a camera phone. You've got cameras in the past or whatever.
We got the cloud now.
Yeah.
Back with the cloud. Yeah, you can take whatever you want from me now. I've got mine in my cloud. You know what I mean? So they can't take the pictures no more. That's the beautiful thing. All my pictures now are backed up everywhere.
But I didn't realise this, right? But when we done my brother's coffin, yeah, we decided to go for photographs all over the coffin. And do you know what it was? There wasn't many.
Damn.
There wasn't many, mate. He wasn't one for photographs. He didn't like being in photographs and that lot.
No.
And do you know what it was? Like, there was mainly of all of us lot. We never... Do you know that them photographs that I post on my social media?
Yeah.
Only photographs I've got of me and him. That is it. So you'll see them repeatedly getting reposted because I have no others. I have no others. It takes a lifetime to get to know someone, right? It takes a lifetime to build memories, a lifetime to feel connected to someone, whether they end up fucking you off at some points or not. It takes a lifetime. When that lifetime is cut short because of a coward stabbing someone and killing them for no reason, yeah? Where is it? Because there's a massive part that's missing there, that's memories, that you've got to try and squash down to the first half of life, that you was too busy, or you just didn't have a camera because you were poor, or there wasn't iPhones like when we were younger. So we've got to try and squeeze all them pictures onto your final bed.
I'm glad I've got plenty of photos now.
I'm serious, man. Like,
I've got all my photos of me and my kids. That's important for me.
And that's what we tried to do. So in the end, we had like 10 photographs of us as a family together. Not all together, sections of us together. Yeah. And then the rest were all his kids in that lot, on his final bed.
How many kids did he have? 5. And how old are they now?
The oldest one is 25, I think. And that goes all the way down to... The youngest one was 5 when he died, but he's got 2 grandchildren. So he was a granddad, right? His only daughter, fell pregnant. And she was pregnant with his first granddaughter when he died. Oh. So he never even got to meet her.
Damn.
So his first daughter, his only daughter, had his first granddaughter. And he never even got to meet her.
And how old was he when he died?
39, so 38.
Deep. Deep. It's deep.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, no one realises when they pick the knife up and put it in the trousers is the generations that are fucked from this, man. Like he was having his second, but his first granddaughter, because he's got a grandson which he'd just met. You know what I mean? He's like got his granddaughter that he knew that he was having, and he never even got to meet her, and she never even got to meet him. So she doesn't even know how incredible he actually was, as well as being one of the biggest misfits going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the beautiful thing about life. I think we've all got a dark side and a bright side, and it's the message in that one is it's even the grandkids and the great grandkids, mate, that are never going to be about. We're never going to meet the people we take off this planet.
So I mean, one person dying, that's generations, and that is generations. Like
loss.
Yeah, all gone for what?
For what?
For what?
For what? And everyone's going to be saying this. I heard an American bird say this the other day as well. For what, man? For what, nigga? I thought, wow, look, even they're using it in America now, it's spreading quick.
But you see these people that have gone to jail, 20 years, 18 years, 18 years, they have to serve the full sentence before they're even allowed to apply for parole.
For what?
For what? Yeah? The oldest one, who got the 20 years, he's going to be 70 when he gets out. He's dead.
For what?
He's dying in jail.
For what?
For what? What's left? So everything that you've done in your life to be able to create your future, to be able to relax in a chair on a beach somewhere, it's not. It's dying in jail. The other ones are going to be in their late 30s, 40s before they can even come out. And you know yourself, when you get to a certain age, you ain't allowed a mortgage, you ain't allowed a career. You're gonna have to find a woman that's gonna have a child, and you're just gonna be like 50 something. Do you understand? So that's more generations gone.
Mm. For what?
For what?
That's what I'm saying to you.
And all they had to do was just sell him a 10 bag, and that was it. And they could have carried on their life.
And we wouldn't be here today.
We wouldn't be here today.
Your message wouldn't be as strong. So as sad as it is, maybe the passing of your brother was the ingredients you needed for you to succeed and become the man that you're destined to become in life. It might sound a little bit cold, but because of his addiction, he might have not been able to be there for his kids in the way that you're going to be there for them now. Yeah. And it's a sad reality, but it's a possibility. Do you understand? Because a functioning addict is still a functioning addict. Yeah. Now, I'm not trying to take any weight off of the devastation, but maybe that's why the universe has put you in this position. Do you know what I mean? And maybe this is why you've got these responsibilities now with all the kids. Because you said you got 10 kids, right?
I got, yeah.
So are they yours?
5 boys, 5 girls, yeah.
Are they yours or yours and your brother's?
No, they're mine.
So you got 15 kids, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take me after your son.
but
that's, listen, so you got 15 kids to look after, to nurture, to mentor, to guide, right? You got your nephew over there who's like your son. Do you know what I'm saying? So the impact that you have, is unclouded now with any negativity.
Hence why I started I started the social media platform after I started going out to schools and to schools, to brownies, Cubs,
Scouts.
Yeah, like scouts. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Well, we're going to get you to come to prisons with me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm already in prisons, so I'll bring you along as a victim.
I'm there, man.
Yeah, and then we'll do the perpetrator and victim. I've done one with Dr. Mark Prince on my podcast because I said, I don't know how you can sit in the same room with someone like me. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that I used to stab people for fun.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So like,
Yeah.
although it's not fun, it was something that I used to just do. Fuck 'em. Get away from me. Like, it was, I never used to think about the consequences or the devastation that we're causing.
I was exactly the same. I was, first thing I do, grab a tool, let's go. Do you know what I mean? And I was exactly the same. And this is my message. I'm not saying it from a point of view where I'm just a goody two-shoes in a chair. I was also an aggressor once. Yeah, and I was there, front line all the time. Yeah, my brother got in some scrapes and I was always there, but had his back. And there was no one that could be able to have his back like I had his back, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So I would have my tool on every job that I went on, right? And it was used as much as I needed to use it. It was there. I didn't realise what I was doing until it happened back to us in the worst way. And that's when I realised how much of a coward I actually was.
Same thing happened to me when I got shot, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was lying in my hospital bed, I can honestly say, remember I said that guy reached out to me?
Yeah.
He was the only person I thought about. Because I remember him being disabled for a little while. And I remember looking at my leg thinking, do you know what? Now I know how he used to feel. Now I know what this one went through. Now I know what their family went through. And when I see the pain in my family's face, I was like, oh, shut up, don't be an idiot. I was expecting this, don't fucking drive something out. Come up in my hotel crying in the hospital all the time. Piss off, like. Because I was that lost that I accepted it without emotion. It was just one part and parcel. So the family, my family, even, I'll give you an example. I've said to my eldest daughter, she's 22 now, I said to her about 4 years ago, she was about 18, 19. So I went to her one day, I said, you know what really pissed me off with you and your brother? She went, what's that? I said, the fact that you never even asked me how my leg was in 5 years, right? I've got to catch myself because it makes me emotional when I think about this, yeah? But she went to me, she said, how could you say that? How could you say that? I never even knew anything was wrong with you. Anytime we come on holiday, we just had a holiday. I never see the pain you went through. I never see the damage. Like, I never even realised you was in trouble. Like, how could you say that to me? And it broke my heart. Do you know what I mean? And I've realised that, fuck, do you know what? I actually portray a better image than I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for my daughter and my son not to even think that I couldn't walk is an amazing achievement.
But how good is it, that you when you say it like that, right? How good is it that what you put across to your children, they don't see that in you?
That's what I'm saying to you, yeah.
That's what I mean. So that just goes to show, what kind of parent you are.
Yeah. I'm not that whinging motherfucking dad who whinges about anything.
Nah.
And the pain I was in when they used to come and see me, I couldn't even walk. And I had this mad frame on my leg. But I would never let that get in the way of their happiness or their fun. So I'm saying to that, no matter what they had to get through, if we had to go to the amusement park, we had to go to the beach, we had to go to the roller coasters, I'd done everything with them. It was painful.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in there buckled up like, getting off right.
I love this.
I was in so much pain, it was unreal. But I could not do it because it's my kids, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's my kids. And then once I had the frame taken off and I could actually swim, you wouldn't notice anything. So I was always in the water playing shark. So I'm the shark, and they've got to dive in the swimming pool and make it to the other side.
Yeah, I'll do that as well. I'll do that.
All that sort of stuff. And this is the thing, right? So because of the man I am, and the fact that I wouldn't allow my kids to see me weak, is a testament to myself. And I only just realised that for my daughter. So looking at you, can you imagine how all your kids are going to think about you in another 10 years' time when they're grown? And after so much that you've done for them and whatever it is you've built, becoming more successful than it is today. You know, because it's amazing that you had the strength, the mindset and the intuitiveness to continue doing what you're doing and to reach the places where you're going. Because I do believe, that you are going to be the sort of tattoo artist that this country sort of has on a pedestal as being the best. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I get that feeling, but I do get that feeling.
Appreciate that,
mate. Do you know what? Every idea I've gone to with tattoos to people, right? I said, that's too much. It can't be done, it's too much. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's a fucking tattoo, mate.
Yeah,
of course you can do it. And when I spoke to you and you was like, yeah, we can do that, we can do this, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. I thought, wow, it's the first man in 10, 15 years that's ever come back with that. Do you know what I mean? No one's ever come back with a positive. Everyone's come back with a negative.
Yeah.
So I know that your insight into tattooing is different to most people that I've been to. And I've been to some sick artists for a quote and they couldn't quote me. They said, we can't quote you because I can't really see it. Like, it's going to be too much work. It's too much. But the way you simplified it shows me that you've got something more than most other tattoo artists. So what is the name of the tattoo brand or the shop? Or
my shop is Lucky 13.
Lucky 13
Tattoo Studio, yeah.
And where's that based?
Ipswich.
Ipswich. And how long's that been there now?
It's been there coming up 12 years.
Wow.
But I go all over. I literally go all over the world. I was in. I go to California, New York. I'm in Norway. You know, I'm everywhere. So
you're already global anyway.
I'm getting out there. Yeah, I'm getting out there. Let's
just get you pushed a little bit further.
It is hard because where I go to when I'm going out is
hard, man.
Yeah, no, and do you know what it is? I don't shy away from it. Like, I don't shy away from hard graft at all. Like, mixing my family, which I've got a big family. You know yourself. I've got 10 kids. You know, I'm at home. I'm running a business which I have several staff there. I've got a clothes brand that I'm getting established, and that'll be ready at the end of this year. And trying to get my name out there as well.
So for those who want to know about your brand, where can they contact you? Where can they link you? Where can they see you? Give the platform your social media stuff, man.
Yeah, well, the shop is Lucky 13 Paul Stansby, and the clothing brand is Black Saint London.
Black
Saint London. Black Saint London.
Wicked. That's it.
Yeah.
So have a look at all the platforms, have a look at all the social medias, and stay tuned. Because we're going up and up and up, further and further and further, and I'll keep you tuned in to the development of my tattoo. But it is sick, I'm telling you. And I'm going to have it two-tiered as well. I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do, if we can. I'll have the family on the back and my journey on the front.
Sounds good to me. I've got an idea for that. I've got an idea. Yeah. You know, I won't talk about it because that'll be on camera. But when I was telling you about when you were saying coming up your journey, that was all part and parcel of what I wanted to put in it. So yeah.
See, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Well, I think we've covered everything we need to cover today. Unless there's anything else you want to discuss. Anything else you want to cover that we haven't already?
No, I appreciate it, man. I just appreciate helping getting the message out.
Come on, man. We've got the messages coming out there, man.
Yeah.
And when we start travelling, man, to schools, colleges and prisons together, it will even make more of an impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to know anything more about the story or the journey that I went on with YouTube, just type in Paul Stansby and the videos come up of my step-by-step of what happened in full detail, you know, of my journey with the figures.
So there you go, YouTube, Paul Stansby.
YouTube, Paul Stansby.
Look him up, get in tune and help change the narrative. That's all we're about. Subscribe, like, comment. Nothing but the truth. Marvin Herbert. Another episode done and dusted, and we'll be back soon. Stay tuned, stay focused, stay positive.